This is NR2003 Predicts. Using constantly updating ratings, we determine where Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series drivers will place at any given track any given week. Standard disclaimer, this video is for entertainment purposes only, using the process of artificial intelligence, and should not be used in the process of gambling. So here's how it works. We update drivers' ratings week by week as we go throughout the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series schedule. We run a 100% simulation with normal tire wear and fuel consumption. Qualifying results match what the drivers actually ran in real life. Because qualifying data can't be arranged at the same time as forcing cautions, stages will not be enforced throughout these races. And weather used reflects the real-time data based on the actual start time of the race. Denny Hamlin and Kyle Larson holding down the front row. 400 laps at Dover. The first race of round number 2 is underway. Hamlin getting off to a great leap over Kyle Larson, but it looks like Larson was able to slot into the inside line, so he is going to stay in place number 2, while Truex Jr. is in 3rd place. Looking at Chase Elliott, and there's a few reasons to look at him first. Not only the most recent winner in the series taking place at the Charlotte Roval, but the most recent winner of this race in particular, winning the Fall Dover race last year, able to propel himself into the next round, and also has the best average finish at this racetrack. 7 races, he's gotten 6 top 10s, one of them being that victory. Jimmy Johnson, the most successful driver in the field at this racetrack today, 11 career wins. However, it's also the site of his latest win all the way back in 2017. This could be his best opportunity to get that winless streak broken. Martin Truex Jr., he's the most recent winner at this racetrack, getting that victory back in May. He's also won here a couple times before that, including his first career victory in the Cup Series in June of 2007. Ryan Newman also has a few victories here himself. Most of them coming in the early part of his career, though. Those were a sweep in 2003 and another one in 2004, so obviously a long time since he's gone to victory lane here at the historic Dover International Speedway. Kyle Busch, another 3-time winner at this racetrack. 2008, 2010, and 2017, the times he's gotten victories here. A couple top 10s in the past 2 races. Trying to see if he can get into the conversation, because he didn't have a great starting spot and not doing too well right now. Kevin Harvick reached victory lane here in 2018. Now trying to see if he can get up there and contend with some of the other drivers, as he currently runs in the 9th position. Brad Keselowski's another victor here. Got that win back in 2012, his championship year, and now trying to see if he can get another title to his name. Trying to work his way up the field as well, because Kyle Busch is just behind him. Both of them are not running too well. Kurt Busch up here trying to battle for the lead with Martin Truex Jr. He was able to win here one time back in 2011 with Penske Racing. That's the grid of drivers that have won at this racetrack. Looking at Aric Almirola, he's the first non-playoff driver in the grid right now, and obviously he was in the playoffs but got eliminated in the first round. Now he's trying to see if he can just get a victory on the season, and right now looking at the back of Denny Hamlin and might have an opportunity to go for that. William Byron is still in the playoffs, and he is just on the back end of this entire field, working on getting himself a little more experience in the playoffs now that he's been able to make the second round. Here comes Joey Logano up the inside of 3 wide, a couple of lapped cars on his outside. He's broken in the 7th position, and he started back in the 14th spot, so he's made up a few positions already, but trying to get up a few more. Fortunately, not a ton of cars in front of him. Kyle Larson, though, is dropping backward as he has fallen into 8th position, even though he started on the outside pole. Looked like he was doing well just behind Denny Hamlin, who is still up there in the top 6. But Kurt Busch is checked out on the field. He was able to get by Truex Jr., and now he is pulling away as he's got a 2-second gap on the rest of the drivers. Alex Bowman is having probably the hardest day of all of our playoff competitors, as he is back here with Ryan Preece, Corey LaJoie. That car is not handling well right now, and he is really dying to get onto pit lane and get some stuff fixed, because he is not running well right now. Austin Dillon going to get into Matt Tifft, who hit the wall coming off of turn number 4, and that is going to send Dillon down to pit lane early. So even though he comes down, not going to be the start of green flag pit stops quite yet. Kevin Harvick's gone on a bit of a slide, as he is Now back here with Eric Jones, and has fallen out of the top 10. He was in the 9th position earlier when we highlighted him, but now is falling back, and I wonder if it has anything to do with the lapped cars. Speaking of lapped cars, Alex Bowman is about to go a lap down as Kurt Busch is making his way to the inside of him. So the 88 car going down a lap early. Only a quarter of the way through this race, and not even that. But the 88 car is already trying to fight for his life in these playoffs, and obviously doesn't come in here with a great cushion. Didn't earn too many playoff points throughout the season. Chase Elliott trying to work his way back up to Kurt Busch, but lap traffic getting in the way, including his teammate Jimmie Johnson, who was already falling a lap down. And so obviously that great run that he was looking for, he was in the top 10 earlier, looks like it's come to a halt. Denny Hamlin, one of the first notables to come down to pit lane along with Aric Almirola. Here comes Kurt Busch giving up the lead, and Eric Jones is into the end of the pit lane wall and up in smoke. Taking a look at what happened here. Bottom down on the area between the apron and the racetrack, and then runs into the wall, and he already missed a commitment car. I'm surprised he was still trying to go down there, unless he just completely lost control of his race car. But that sends him up in smoke. We stay green for the meanwhile, and here comes Chase Elliott. He's going to come down and get his pit service. And Martin Truex Jr. misses the commitment cone, and he does the exact same thing his teammate does, Eric Jones, and runs right into the pit lane wall, and big contact back there, and that's one of another playoff driver, Clint Bowyer, has just plowed into the pit lane wall, and Truex Jr. going to get rear-ended by Daniel Hemrick on the racetrack. That was a big situation. Here's Clint Bowyer's on board, and we believe that he was actually coming off of pit lane already. So something must have gone wrong, and that was a big hit into the end of that pit lane wall, but that is going to take the 14 out of the competition, and he is definitely in a hole right now. He is last on the playoff grid, so the lack of points he's going to make up today is going to be really detrimental to him. Contact here off of turn number 4 as Austin Dillon gets stuffed into the wall. Aric Almirola basically goes head-on into it, but still able to contend, and they don't throw a caution for it. Meanwhile, the contact that Truex Jr. made with the wall is going to slow him down, as you can see so many cars going to his inside. And even though he is one of the few still remaining on the lead lap, he is definitely dropping back. And talking about a few on the lead lap, some of them are just trying to stay on the tail end of it. Kevin Harvick and Brad Keselowski were lucky enough to be in front of Chase Elliott on that restart, but the 9 car is trying to chase them down. They could go a lap down quickly enough, and there you go. 2 car going to go a lap down as a little bit of assist from a lap traffic of Reed Sorensen in the 77. I'm going to try to track down the 4 now. Try to get as few people on the lead lap as he can. Jimmie Johnson, though, he is broken back into the top 10. So it looks like that caution might have helped him out a little bit in terms of getting some track position back, as he is now working on getting back on the lead lap and getting to victory lane. Kyle Busch is also trying to work his way into the top 10, as he is just behind his brother Kurt. Hasn't been a factor, and not something you'd say too often. He had some problems last week, and it looked like he had a little rear end damage, and now we got the 19 car going a lap down. The speed is just not there anymore after hitting that wall, and the 9 goes to the inside. So a very detrimental day to Joe Gibbs Racing. None of their cars seem to do too well right now. Meanwhile, Kyle Larson trying to catch back up to the 9 car of Chase Elliott. A few seconds between the two. Here comes Denny Hamlin to the inside, and he's going to get his lap back from Chase Elliott. So the 11 car showing a little speed, even though it's only to make his lap back up. Looking through the field here is the 19 now. He already lost that lap, but now he's not even inside the top 10, so all of those cars that are lap down have been able to pass up the 19 car of Truex Jr., just showing how slow his car is going right now. Got a few pit stops taking place. Suarez and Ty Dillon coming in, and here comes Chase Elliott. So he's going to give up the lead. Kyle Larson going to take it over. But problems here in turn number 3. Ryan Preece, Matt DiBenedetto make contact. The 47 slams into the outside wall. And it looks like the problems aren't going to end here. Corey LaJoie plows in there, and so does Kevin Harvick. One of your playoff contenders. There's the hit he took. It was pretty big. And there's Aric Almirola. He also gets into it. Corey LaJoie goes up in smoke. The 10 car with some heavy damage, and Joe Nemechek also involved in that one. we've got some mechanical problems for Denny Hamlin. He is not going to be able to beat out the pace car. However, he is still going to be on the lead lap, but he is just on the tail end of it. Kyle Larson now leading, as Chase Elliott's also on the tail end of the lead lap, and obviously that accident happened just in the middle of the pit stops, and it looks like the 9 car is going to get trapped by that, so now Larson having the advantage. And suddenly Kyle Busch has propelled himself up into 4th place. If he's able to get around some of this traffic, and the other 2 cars on the lead lap get lapped, he might have an opportunity to get up into the runner-up spot. Meanwhile, Kevin Harvick kind of in the middle of nowhere, as obviously he came down to pit lane and got that damage repaired, but he is a few laps down and not making up any spots. Meanwhile, looking at Brad Keselowski, you can see Hamlin just behind Kyle Larson. He's been put a lap down. Keselowski trying to make up a few laps. Chris Buescher, though, let's point out him because he is inside the top 10. He might be a lap down, but obviously a good performance for the 37 driver we know is going to Roush Fenway Racing next year. While Kurt Busch, the driver that kind of dominated early on in this race, he is still in the top 5, but he is a lap down now, trying to make up some spots, and Alex Bowman kind of struggling right now on the race, even though I believe he's made himself back up into the top 15, thanks to all the problems that other drivers have been having. Here comes Joey Logano up through the field, and he's going to make a pass on Kyle Larson to get his lap back. Denny Hamlin's still looking to do the same, but 22 goes around Hamlin for 3rd and gets back on the lead lap, and looks like Hamlin will do the same. Chase Elliott able to get away from Larson. Going to get into a little bit of lap traffic, though. But he is starting to pull away from Larson. However, he is going to be one of the first to come down for a pit stop. Keselowski's going to follow. But another problem. Going into turn 3, Suarez is going to turn Paul Menard. And it looks like, I think that was Reed Sorensen that took a clip. And Kurt Busch plows into the back of the 21. And Bowman, one of your playoff contenders, is going to run into Busch. The 1 car already eliminated from competition, but Alex Bowman looking for a place to go and runs right into the back of the 1 car who stalled on the inside line. I believe some of them might have been coming down for pit stops there, but that is going to take out the 88 car from contention. And another driver that needed points today underneath the cut line is going to have problems. So Kyle Larson takes the lead, and he is in front of the entire field. However, it looks like Joey Logano and possibly Denny Hamlin are going to get their lap back. Right now, Logano holding down that inside line, trying to make the move. Looks like he will get it through turns 1 and 2, and the 11 car will follow. Meanwhile, the 9 car goes 2 laps down. He already had the problems being on pit lane when those cautions came out the last time that put him on the tail end of the lead lap. Now he's down 2 laps. Really big problems for Chase Elliott today after having a pretty solid run going for him, trying to defend his race win here. Keselowski going underneath Larson for a lap, even though he is still not within the top 10. Larson and Elliott will come down at the same time for their last pit stop. At least that's what we're presuming. We are about 50 laps from the end of the race. Denny Hamlin comes down. And we're going to have another problem here. Garrett Smidley coming off pit lane, cuts right in front of Jimmy Johnson, or Johnson at least coming down. And big hit, Daniel Suarez runs into the 54 car, and a huge hit for Smidley sends him flying. So Larson going to lead them on the restart, and Denny Hamlin just behind him, trying to work his way through. And it looks like Hamlin's going to go for the lead. So after getting his lap back, he is going to contend Larson for the victory. And the 11 car gets underneath and is going to take over place number 1. So here we go, and now the 11 car has control of this race, and the 42 staying just on his bumper. And possibly getting a little bit of speed to get away. But there's going to be problems on the front stretch. The 51 hits the wall, 37 and the 3 going to go down and hit the inside pit lane wall. And that is going to bring out yet another caution. But problems here, Denny Hamlin and Kyle Larson, the 2 leaders, are going to plow into the 3 car, and a few other cars involved, including playoff contender Ryan Blaney. What happened here? Hamlin and Larson, I just question if they were thinking going low to avoid the accident, but then lost control and drove right into the 3 car, even though that high line was wide open. That is going to take both of those lead lap cars out of the race, and now the lead gets handed off to Ryan Newman. So now it's the 6 car in control of the race, with the 24 of William Byron just behind him. Newman got knocked out of the race in another crash just after the restart. David Reagan collected. He is up there in the top 10 somehow. Joe Nemechek, the one that hit the wall and came down the racetrack. Green flag back out, and we're within 15 laps to go. This could be a great opportunity for William Byron to get his first career victory. Trying to chase down the veteran, but he's on the high side at 3 wide. And here comes Kyle Busch. He has not been a factor in this race all race long, and he is getting up here in the place number 2. Chase Elliott following. He is back on the lead lap, and he is going for 3rd. Busch is tracking down the 6 car, trying to see if he can get another victory on the season. He's earned several this year. And William Byron coming down the pit lane. And he might not have enough fuel to make it, and I believe that the 9 car actually did the same thing a lap earlier. Both of the Hendrick cars didn't put in enough fuel to make it to the end of the race. Meanwhile, we're taking the white flag here, and Ryan Newman's still out in front of Kyle Busch. Newman came into this race team this season after struggling with Richard Childress over the past couple seasons. He is coming over to this race team, put them in the playoffs, got eliminated last race, but now coming out of turn number 4, he is going to earn this team's first victory this season. Ryan Newman victorious at Dover. Talk about one you didn't see coming. It was a little bit of a hectic situation that put the 6 car in that scenario, but he is coming out on top over Kyle Busch, who was just behind him throughout that entire run. Joey Logano going to be able to slot in 3rd. William Byron and Chase Elliott, great runs for them. Bubba Wallace gets in 6th place after some controversy last week. Going back a page, you got Kevin Harvick. He ended up finishing 11th despite the problems he had earlier in the race. And obviously some names you don't normally see up here in the top 20. Landon Castle, BJ LeCloud, JJ Yaley, Joe Nemechek. They all took advantage of all these cars wrecking out, and obviously Denny Hamlin and Kyle Larson, it looked like the race was going to come down to them until they ran right into the back of the 3 car. Quite a race indeed, and obviously a lot of big names, playoff drivers getting eliminated here. Clint Bowyer being one of them way back in the field. He's going to have a big fight throughout these playoffs. That is it for this edition of NR2003 Predicts. We hope you enjoyed the race. We will see you all next time.